You believe you can make it. You have an amazing idea. But then, after some time, reality hits. And everything you believe starts to fade. Doubts and fears creep in. This happens when we're motivated but not grounded. Without grounding, we quit. I'll share some lessons I've learned along the way. Lessons that I know can help you push through. Most people think motivation alone will get them to the finish line. But the truth is, without the right guidance, motivation fades. It won't last if you're not prepared to test why you are motivated. Life will do that for you. You see, motivation by itself isn't enough. The problem is that the energy you start with often disappears over time. Without the plan to ride through the challenges, you feel stressed, burnt out, and overwhelmed with negative thoughts. I don't have what it takes. I'm not good enough. Why can't I do this? It's not about avoiding these questions. It's about finding the right answers to them. As a fitness professional, athlete and coach, I needed to figure out why people quit. I pushed myself in different sports, and the same thing happened every time. Fears and doubts crept in. No matter what I did, I couldn't escape it. But then I realized something. These fears were made up. And it was just me against me. So I stopped worrying about others and I focused on overcoming my own self-doubt. To really expose myself to these challenges, I even took up boxing. I wanted to see how far I could push myself mentally and physically. What I learned was that feeling down, tired, and weak is part of the process. The real issue isn't a lack of motivation, it's about facing the mental and physical battles along the way. Motivation isn't bad, it's just not enough on its own. At one point, I dedicated my all to becoming an athlete. I started testing my limits. I wanted to see how far I can take it. Many times people would try to compete against me, but for me, my biggest battle was myself. I needed to stay in my own lane. So I went from bodybuilding to CrossFit, gymnastics and calisthenics. I was peaking in each one. I picked up some valuable lessons on persistence and resistance, understanding the things we must fight for and the things we must not give into. Momentum kept building and I wanted to push further. Throwing myself into a real fight to test my limits was important for my development. I dedicated all my energy into mixed martial arts, training 3 times a day, reading and working in between. I knew that facing an opponent who wanted to hurt me would expose me to fear. I needed to understand his power over me. I remember just before the fight, I was feeling anxious, I was scared. My thoughts almost forcing me to escape. But despite the noise in my head, I kept focusing on one thought. Just turn up. And before I knew it, I was in the ring, tested with everything I had. And the fight ended in a rush of emotions. Winning or losing wasn't important for me, but how I handled myself in such situation and turning up regardless of the fear was my goal. It's not the removal of fear, but the acceptance of its presence. Having now experienced self-doubt and fear, I know that it comes down to a choice, but it's not up to fear and doubt to decide for me. Now it's about reason and truly understanding what I'm willing to give my all for. This is what I call absolute motivation. Your time is the most valuable asset, and what you do matters. You don't want to go into something that gives you no value, spending too much time on things that eventually just take all your time and leave you with nothing. Understanding your reason must align with your value. It won't be a lack of motivation, it will be how you handle each challenge. Knowing your reason and accepting that there will be days when when you feel like giving up is normal too. You're not a machine, you're a living being. Our journey is what's most important, not the end result. You can reach every goal, but without enjoying each moment of being human, you'll miss out all the glorious moments of life, good or bad. Your reason needs clarity, planning, and organizing. It needs to be realistic. You need to really think and ask yourself, can I really do this? Do I have what it takes? Will this goal still be as important in a few days? Will this help my life? Sit with the idea and motive. Plan your route and take the first step. When you reach the point where you realize it's truly up to you, easy and hard should not be the reason that stands in your way. There's a moment in your life when you have to say, no more excuses. That's the moment I want you to find. My goal in joining YouTube was to connect with like-minded individuals so we can share and grow together. My main interest is to find people who want change and are ready for change. For this, we need seriousness, because without it, we will quit. This road we're entering will need your full attention. If we need to learn and work on ways to improve, that's what it takes, because we're all developing. Through this process, there's no guaranteed outcome, but I can assure you that growth is certain, and it's growth that will remain with you. Understanding that fear is part of our journey. It will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. Embrace the journey with all the highs and lows and find joy in the process. This is where you build resilience, where you learn and where you grow. I love to hear your story and what motivation means to you. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. We are all in this together. Every week I'll be posting a new video about self-growth. Stay true.